I'll introduce myself. My name is Jeremy Musighi. I'm head of growth at Balancer Labs. It's a little bit of a nebulous title, and it has evolved over time. But my primary focus is identifying and prioritizing market opportunities for the team, as well as leading the strategic direction of our partnership team. So I also was involved in setting up, helping to form the Balancer Grants DAO, which is a decentralized organization within the Balancer community that manages a fund denominated in BAL tokens and allocates those tokens to projects that are building innovative, valuable technology within the Balancer ecosystem. And the DigiShares and real estate.exchange team is one of those recipients that we're all very excited to be collaborating with. So as far as today's conversation, I'm happy to discuss any questions that you have. There's no prepared talk or anything like that. So it can just be an open format if either the audience here or the DigiShares team has any questions they'd like to dive into.
All right, well, everybody in the audience, this is your time to go down into the Q&A, and we already have one from Anonymous, and that is, how does Balancer evaluate the value of the security tokens?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
How does Balancer evaluate the value of the security tokens?
So
I'm guessing they're asking about price discovery, really.
Yeah, so pricing on Balancer is all market driven. So liquidity pools on Balancer are designed such that they are they hold specified weights in each asset that they hold. And these liquidity pools can hold multiple assets, minimum of 2. And these assets are traded against each other to maintain, those weights as price moves and fluctuates. So Balancer, I would say itself, is not setting prices. Balancer is reflecting the prices of the market, and it is rebalancing. It's essentially an automatically rebalancing portfolio that reacts to the prices of the market, and that is done essentially through arbitrage. So if something is underpriced in a Balancer liquidity pool compared to its perceived market value, then it'll be purchased more. If it's overpriced, it'll be sold more, and that will that's how prices are balanced and determined on Balancer.
All right, I think that's
one last note on that. So I think you might be wondering, what if it's a brand new token that doesn't yet have a market price? A token that isn't being traded anywhere else, does not have like a big liquid market for it. So one way that teams are utilizing Balancer is to do these token offerings, basically releasing new tokens onto the market through what's called a liquidity bootstrapping pool, or an LBP for short. And this is a mechanism where a new token that has never been traded anywhere else before is brought onto the market through a reverse Dutch auction style sale. And without going too far into it, but if people have questions, I'm happy to go further. But through the mechanics of this type of Balancer pool, there is a continuous downward price pressure that is put on that token as it goes through a price discovery process, starting at an intentionally high price, dropping over time, and allowing the market to determine when it has reached fair market value and to buy it at that point. So there is a confluence of upward and downward price pressure that leads to a price discovery process, which by the end of this sale period, which might last 24 to 72 hours, typically will not only determine the price of the token, but also distribute that token into the hands of the buyers who are participating in the sale. Hopefully that made sense.
I think that was a very thorough answer. And if anybody needs any follow-up on that, you can write in the Q&A. Next question is, any plans on Balancer in Polygon or other blockchains?
Yeah, Balancer is on Polygon already and has been for some time now. And it's also deployed on Arbitrum. And it is also on Phantom, but through a team that has deployed a fork of Balancer and is partnering closely with the Balancer community in that effort. So this is a very interesting sort of new innovative approach for how a protocol that is primarily focused on one base layer chain can expand and grow to other parts of the blockchain ecosystem, because there are, of course, so many other blockchains other than Ethereum that are gaining traction and interest today. And that's a lot to manage for one community or one core team. So what we're seeing right now is a very interesting synergistic partnership between a team called Beethoven X that has deployed Balancer on the Phantom blockchain and the Balancer Ethereum community. So essentially, you can use Balancer on that chain as well, and this is something that we anticipate to see in multiple other places.
All right. And then anonymous attendee asks, does the DigiShares idea require a Balancer Pro?
Yes, so as I understand, the real estate.exchange use case for Balancer is centered around permissioned liquidity pools. And that can be done through, not by creating a whole new version of Balancer, but by creating a new type of liquidity pool on Balancer that would have certain requirements and certain features to make it compliant with the needs of that pool and the use case of that pool.
All right. Jonas asked, Jeremy, what is your view on getting real world assets into DeFi?
I think that it's a movement that has a lot of energy and momentum behind it right now. And here at Balancer, I think we're really in the eye of the storm because our platform is very well suited and very well designed to bring a lot of value to that. So one of the primary ways that companies outside of crypto, traditional financial institutions, as well as crypto projects are utilizing Balancer to within the context of real world assets is to create structured investment products such as index funds or ETFs using Balancer liquidity pools, because they're on Balancer you can deploy a liquidity pool that is essentially a basket of tokens that are weighted a certain way. So, you know, you could have 4 assets that are weighted 25% each, but those weights can also be skewed in any direction that is deemed appropriate by the pool creator. And this is a permissionless protocol, so anyone can be a pool creator, FYI. And just like any other Balancer pool, the ownership stake in that pool is represented by a BPT, a Balancer pool token. So if you hold Balancer pool tokens, that represents shares in this pool of assets. So what that means is by holding this token, the BPT, this one token, you are holding a diversified position amongst the assets that are held in that pool, weighted according to the design of that pool. So that's really a perfect mechanism for creating index fund products And this is highly applicable to companies that are looking to bring tokenized securities or real world assets of different types into DeFi, and to also, for example, give investors easier ways to invest into a portfolio of assets by just purchasing one token. And those end users, those investors, may or may not be interacting with Balancer directly, because everything that's happening in the background on the infrastructural layer on Balancer can be abstracted from that end user who is simply an investor looking for exposure to certain sectors or assets, and doesn't need to be a DeFi expert, doesn't need to be a blockchain expert, doesn't need to understand how Balancer works, which quite frankly, it's pretty complicated. But that's really the point. Balancer is first and foremost a tool for development and creation of financial products and services that can be offered to a wide range of different audiences.
All right, very good answer. The next one is, have there already been LBPs, any recent ones as example?
Yes, there have been many LBPs. I believe the first one was over a year ago, and I want to say September of 2020. The most recent one that comes to mind is Merit Circle. And just a point of clarification, LBPs are not only for securities or securitized assets. LBPs are for any crypto asset, any token that can be traded on the Ethereum, Polygon, or Arbitrum blockchain. So yeah, Merit Circle, actually, they broke all the records with their recent sale. It happened last week. They raised $100 million through a Balancer LBP, and they are a NFT gaming project.
Yeah. All right, very good. We have another one from Jonas. How do you think regulations of real-world assets in DeFi will evolve? For example, will KYC be implemented for all sorts of real-world assets?
Yeah, so first of all, I'm not a legal or regulatory expert at all. And
thank you for the disclaimer.
Yeah, and our job at Balancer Labs is not to be the ones who are, developing legal, navigating the legal frameworks for the assets that are being put onto Balancer. Balancer is a permissionless protocol. You can put any asset on Balancer. So depending on the assets that you are bringing onto the protocol and the way that you're using them and the jurisdiction that you're in and the jurisdiction that your customers or end users are in, that will, the burden of that is fully on your end. And I will add that, as mentioned, it's a big area of interest and a big area where Balancer Labs is spending energy today, is to provide the types of tools that teams that are looking for compliant DeFi solutions need. So it's a collaborative effort, such as the one with Real Estate Exchange, where together we're the technologists, right? We're not the lawyers, we're not the real estate experts, we're not the asset valuators, none of that, right? We're the technologists here. So our job is to listen to the needs and requirements of the people and companies and teams that are using and building with our protocol, so we can provide those tools.
Very nice. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. There are still a lot of questions that are for you, Jeremy, specifically. But I was thinking maybe while you wait to join the panel, you could go into the Q&A and type some answers to people. That could be very useful. I think there are many good questions there.
Sure. It's a busy day and a lot of juggling, so I'll do my best. And I would just also mention that if we don't get a chance to talk about something here today, you can also find me on Twitter at IMMUTBL, immutable, or you can send me an email, jeremy@balancer.finance.
Very nice. Thank you very much, Jeremy. That was a very pleasant chat.
Thank you.
Yeah, see you later. Bye-bye.